Darkness hung over Earth's upper orbit. The stars were quiet. It's quiet at the edge of the solar system, deep in a cold, silent monitoring station near Neptune. A long-range radio telescope started picking up strange signals, it was supposed. To scan empty space, just routine sweeps. But tonight, the machine screamed. Inside the station, a young technician named Mara dropped her cup of tea. Red lights flashed across every console. Screens glitched. Then the sound came, was garbled, low, and full of static. But one thing was clear. It wasn't human. She ran to the control panel and hit the emergency record button. The message kept repeating. Some parts were just noise, others were words in a strange alien tongue, but after a few loops, a translator program kicked in. The message was short. It said, "Do not trust the silence. They are already in your system. They are not here to talk." Mara froze. She sent the message straight to Earth's command. 10 minutes later, the station went dark. All cameras, lights, and power failed. The final thing she saw was a large, moving shadow outside the glass dome, something with lights too symmetrical to be natural, far too big. Then silence. Back on Earth, Commander Saul Brennan sat in a dark command room under the Rocky Mountains. He reviewed the signal data again and again. His team confirmed the message was reland, not from any known species in Earth's limited alien archives. It wasn't just new, it was hostile. He lit a cigarette with shaking hands. Why warn us if they're already here? He asked no one in particular. The power in the room flickered. In orbit, satellites started dropping offline one after another. Civilian networks went dark. Global GPS went down. Civilian flights were grounded. Even the International Space Station. Lost contact. Panic spread fast. News anchors struggled to speak as entire cities lost power. People feared it was a solar flare, or a cyber attack, or a glitch. But in the quiet halls of Earth's Defense Command, they knew it was worse. Much worse. Then came the explosion. One of Earth's old defense platforms, floating near the moon, was hit by something unseen. It vanished in a bright blue flash. No sound, no trace. By the time anyone reacted, 3 more platforms were gone. Saul opened a sealed drawer and pulled out a silver key. He walked to a locked panel in the wall, inserted the key, and turned it. A hidden elevator door opened. He stepped inside and descended below the Earth's crust. Down there, a few people knew. What really waited in the dark, Dr. Kira Lin, was already awake. She hadn't slept in 32 hours. As a former xenolinguist turned defense analyst, she had been tracking patterns in deep space signals for years. She believed something was coming. No one listened. Now they were listening. They didn't come. "For peace," she said quietly, eyes on the screen. "Can we communicate with them?" Saul asked. Kira shook her head. This wasn't a message. It was a warning. But not from them. Someone else sent it. Maybe another species that fought them. Maybe a survivor. But whoever they were, they're either dead or hiding. Low. Alarm buzzed through the room. Object detected Jupiter orbit. Non-human. Matching 0 known signatures. Everyone turned toward the live feed. A blurry image sharpened slowly. Long black shape, moving silently just outside Jupiter's shadow. It was over 1 kilometer long and shaped like a blade. No heat signature, no radio traffic, just moving stealth. The object adjusted its path, heading straight for Earth. Kira took a breath. It's not a scout ship. That's a warship. Or dots began to appear behind it. "A fleet," one officer whispered. "We're not ready for this. Our orbital defense systems are weak. Our fighters are 20 years behind. We have no fleet." Kira stood. "We have one option, but it's not on Earth." Everyone turned to her. She brought up an old classified file. The words across the top read, Project Aegis. Status. Lost. Saul frowned. "You're talking about the ghost ship?" "It's not a ghost. It was real. Built by Earth's first off-world colony. It vanished 200 years ago during the Solar War. We buried the records. Too expensive. Too dangerous." "Even if it exists," another officer said, We don't know where it is. Kira looked at them. I do. A silent countdown appeared on the main screen. Alien fleet arrival estimated in 72 hours. They didn't have time to argue. Kira and a small strike team were launched in a Black Ops shuttle. Their destination, the dark side of Jupiter. The shuttle, disguised as space debris, moved slowly, silently, no transmissions. They didn't want the alien fleet to notice. As they approached Jupiter's shadow, the shuttle's sensors pinged. Something massive was drifting in orbit a station. No, a ship. A huge triangular hull, coated in black armor, covered in dust, debris and ice, like it hadn't moved in centuries, but it was there. Kira pressed her hand to the glass. That's it, the Aegis. The team approached the docking bay. The airlock worked, barely. Inside, it was dark and silent. Dead until the lights flickered, and something spoke. Identify. Voice. Cold. Mechanical. Female. Kira stepped forward. Dr. Kira Lin. Earth Defense Protocol. Pause. Voice match. 87%. Pause again. Protocol reactivated. Welcome aboard the Aegis. Lights snapped on, one section at a time. The hallway lit up. Systems came online. In the main command deck, the ship's AI revealed itself. I am Air Autonomous Response Arsenal. Earth-class Dreadnought. Status: dormant. Now active. Kira approached the main console. The Dominion is coming. Earth needs you, Ara replied instantly. Confirmed. Hostile fleet detected. Activation of planetary defense mode. Authorized. Back on Earth, satellite footage showed the alien fleet speeding toward Earth faster than expected. Thousands of small crafts, several large carriers. No response to hails, no broadcasts. Just silent advance. The President gave the order. Defender protocol active. All civilian systems shut down. Prepare for contact. But there was one more piece on the board now. As the alien fleet passed Mars, something moved from behind Jupiter. The stars blinked behind it. A massive triangle of metal. Silent as death, powered by ancient engines and forgotten tech. The Aegis had returned. ARA's voice echoed in Kira's headset. Target acquired, engaging. The screen filled with glowing weapons, nodes, activation lines, and targeting data. The last thing the aliens expected was resistance. They thought Earth was defenseless. They were wrong. The Aegis woke up like an ancient beast. Systems had slept for centuries, buried in silence behind Jupiter's thick shadow. Now, with each second, power surged back into the metal veins of the old warship. Lights flickered on in long forgotten hallways. Weapons hummed. Engines stirred. Inside the command deck, Kira stood still. She felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. This ship had been built before anyone on Earth was born. Built for a war Earth had erased from its records. The fact that it still existed, still functioned, was both a miracle and a mystery. But she didn't have time to be amazed. The alien fleet was closing in. ARA's voice echoed across the command deck. Cold, sharp. Primary systems online. Life. Support active. Weapons at 63%. Navigation responding. Warp drive. Stable. Kira turned to the rest of her strike team, 6 soldiers, a pilot, and one old engineer named Malik. They were all looking around in disbelief. The Aegis was massive, more like a floating city than a ship. And yet it moved as if it had been waiting for them. This thing is alive, Malik whispered. How is it even possible? Kira ignored the question. Era, show us the alien fleet's position. A map appeared on the main screen. Dozens of red dots swarmed across it, all heading for Earth. They weren't hiding anymore. Their engines glowed like fire across the black of space. At their current speed, they would reach Earth's orbit in less than 48 hours. And Earth had no fleet, no defense, no time. Only this. The Aegis. Kira took a deep breath. Era, Can you stop them? Unclear. Offensive capacity is limited. This vessel was designed to operate with support from 3 sister ships. They are not present. They were destroyed, Kira said quietly. Earth never finished them. Then we are alone. A heavy silence followed. Everyone in the room felt it, the weight of being humanity's last shot. Suddenly, alarms blared. Enemy scout ship detected, Era announced. 1 vessel. Approaching Aegis's position. Stealth field compromised. On the screen, a small, sharp-looking alien ship blinked into view. It moved fast and smooth, scanning the area. Its hull was made of dark, organic-looking metal. Didn't move like a machine. It moved like something alive. They found us. 1 soldier muttered. They're scanning the Aegis, Kira said. They'll report back. We can't let them. Recommend engagement, Era said. Kira hesitated. Haven't even tested the weapons. Ara didn't care. Target locked. It's firing in 5. Wait. Kira started. Too late. A bright beam of white-blue energy shot from the Aegis. It lit up space like a lightning strike. The alien scout didn't stand a chance. The blast tore straight through it, no explosion. No pieces, just ash. Everyone stared at the screen. Target neutralized, Era said calmly. Kira felt her knees weaken. That beam wasn't just powerful, it was terrifying. How many times can you fire that? Currently, 2. Then we save it. The alien fleet would know something was wrong. Outscout was connected to them. The silence after its death wouldn't go unnoticed. Kira turned to the team. Can't hide anymore. We need to move. Era interrupted. Warp core unstable. Long-range jump is not possible. Earth approach will take 12 hours under current power. It's fine. Kira said, start the engines. Full burn. As the Aegis powered forward, its engines groaned like thunder. Heat poured through the old pipes. The ship shook. Somewhere deep inside, something sparked a reactor long dormant struggled to stay alive, Era. What happened to the original crew? A pause. Crew perished. Solar War. Final log entry. Captain Michael Reeve. Recording archived. Play it. The screen shifted. A man appeared, older, tired, and blood on his uniform. His eyes looked hollow. Behind him, alarms flashed, and systems blinked red. If this message is playing, he said, then the Aegis has survived. But we didn't. We fought. We lost. Earth turned its back on us, said the war wasn't worth the cost. So we stayed out here, alone, waiting, watching. And if they ever come again, let this ship remind them. Earth was ready. We were just early. The message ended. Kira clenched her fists. The past was ugly, but it gave her clarity. This wasn't about politics or control. This was about survival. Era, she said, prepare. For battle, I need to speak to Earth Command. Era's systems crackled. Long-range communication is jammed by alien interference. Short-range broadcast possible when in Earth orbit. Kira exhaled. Then we keep flying. Outside, the alien fleet began to shift. A new ship appeared at its center. It was massive, larger than anything they had seen. Sharp, curved, and glowing with strange red energy. It wasn't shaped for life. It was shaped for death. Era scanned it. New class detected. No records. Designation. Unknown. Kira stared at it. That's their flagship. They were still 10 hours out from Earth. And Earth didn't know what was coming. Kira looked at her team. No one sleeps. No one rests. We prepare for war. Because in 10 hours, we show the galaxy that Earth is not broken, not weak. Malik smiled faintly. Let's make history. They all turned toward the viewing window. Far in the distance, The blue marble of Earth glowed peacefully still, unaware of the nightmare racing toward it. But behind it, now rising from Jupiter's shadow, something else moved. A human warship, a ghost from the past, its weapons charged, its AI awake, and it was ready. The sky over Earth looked the same. Bright stars, peaceful moon, calm silence, but above that quiet sky in high orbit, the storm was coming fast. In the command bunker below Cheyenne Mountain, Commander Saul Brennan stared at the updated satellite. Scans. The alien fleet was no longer hiding. It was advancing fast like a wave of fire cutting across space. Thousands of ships, small attack units, large carriers, and one giant mass in the center, almost the size of a small moon. A weapon, this. Is it? Saul said, his voice cold. Full alert. Global blackout. Activate every ground defense battery. Move civilian leaders to the shelters. The room burst into motion. Screens flickered with warning messages. Generals from every major power joined the callsome in full uniform, others still in sleep clothes. No one was ready for this, and the worst part, they had no way to stop it. No fleet, no shields, just silence. Until the signal came in, a scratchy, pulsing sound. Like an old heartbeat through static, then a voice clear, calm female. This is the Aegis Earth-class dreadnought. Now reactivated. Commanded by Dr. Kira Lin. Estimated arrival: 3 hours. Recommend all defense platforms stand by. The room froze. Saul stood up slowly. Say that again? The signal repeated. Everyone stared at the screen, where a blurry image of the Aegis came into focus, a massive black triangle, covered in armor, gliding toward Earth like a blade. That ship was a myth, someone whispered. Not anymore, Saul said. Get me a direct line. In orbit, Kira stood on the bridge of the Aegis as it sliced through space, the engines burning with silent fury. Earth grew larger by the second. But so did the alien fleet. The distance between them was closing. Kira said, Any change? In the enemy's formation? Confirmed? Fleet is splitting into 3 attack paths. 2 to flank Earth's defense grid. The third largest will approach directly. Kira narrowed her eyes. They're trying to surround us. Affirmative. One of the soldiers on the bridge, Reyes, spoke up. We still have that energy weapon. If we hit their main ship now, no, Kira said. We only get 2 shots. We'll save it for when. They exposed their core ships, Kira added. Energy buildup for primary cannon complete. Auxiliary weapons online. Shield strength at 76%. The ship shuddered. The engines groaned. But the systems held. Then the call came through. Saul's voice, Kira. This is Brennan. Are you really aboard the Aegis? Kira smiled. In the metal flesh, you're 200 years late. I prefer fashionably on time. There was a pause. Then Saul's voice grew serious. They're almost here. Our planetary defenses are outdated. We can't stop them alone. No, Kira said. We won't let them through. Saul exhaled. Then I'm putting everything in your hands. Sky's yours. Kira looked around at the crewmost, were still strangers, but in this moment, they were all defenders of Earth. Ara, she said, initiate battle protocols. All systems primed. Countdown to engagement, 2 hours, 54 minutes, far above. Just outside the moon's orbit, the alien fleet broke into formation. The ships moved like living creatures, swarming, curving, spiraling around one another. They had no windows, no lights, just black metal and red glowing veins. They looked like sharks in deep water. Then they launched their first wave. Hundreds. Small fighters screamed ahead like meteors, heading straight for Earth. Ara responded instantly. Incoming attack drones. Calculating trajectory. Interception window. 6 minutes. Kira barked the order. Deploy remote interceptors. Activate auto turrets. Prepare for close defense. Panels opened across the Aegis's hull. From its sides, long metal arms extended turrets with railguns, laser cannons, and point defense weapons. The crew locked into position. Soldiers manned emergency posts. Lights dimmed to combat mode. Then the first swarm arrived. Like insects, the alien drones buzzed toward the ship. They moved faster than anything human-built. It's too fast for normal tracking. But Era wasn't human. Targeting 1,024 units, Era said. Firing. The Aegis came alive. Lasers sliced through the dark. Railguns fired bursts of metal slugs that ripped into the swarm. Explosions dotted the black sky. Bright flashes of light and fire, but the swarm kept coming. One drone got close. Too close. It slammed into the Aegis's side, exploding in a flash of plasma. The ship rocked hard. Alarms rang. Damage to Deck C, hull integrity down 8%. Grabbed a fire suppressor and ran toward the flames. Another drone dove toward the front of the ship, but just before impact. A turret on the left wing fired a pulse shot, shredding it mid-air. The crew worked like a single body, and the Aegis held. After 4 minutes of chaos, the last drone was destroyed. Silence returned. Then Era spoke. Enemy advance group eliminated. Main fleet approaching. Kira's hands tightened around the console. This was just a test, she muttered. They wanted to see what we could do. Malik leaned over. Well, now they know. And I don't think they like it. Behind the main fleet, the massive alien flagship moved, slowly, as if it was waiting, watching, planning. Kira stared at it. What are you waiting for? She whispered. Era answered. Signal detected. New frequency. Translation in progress. The screen crackled. Then a voice. It was not a sound made by a throat. It was cold, twisting, echoed like it came from inside the skull. You do not belong here. Everyone in the room went still. This world is not yours to keep. Era spoke. Source. Alien flagship. Open communication channel. Kira stepped forward. This is Dr. Kira Lin. Human Defense Command. You are trespassing in Sol System. Turn back or face consequences. Another pause. Then laughter. Soft. Mocking. We have conquered 100 worlds, burned 10,000 ships. Your species was forgotten before you ever raised fire. Came to finish what we began. Kira's blood ran cold. Malik whispered. They know us. From the Solar War, they were here before. Ara confirmed. Ship design matches ancient Solar War records. The Dominion. Kira turned to the screen, her voice steady. Then this time we finish it. She turned to her crew. 3 hours. That's all we have. Earth watched the sky. The Aegis moved into position, and war came with it. The Dominion fleet darkened the stars, ships the size of cities, drones like locusts. And at the center of it all, the massive flagship, pulsing with a red glow that looked alive. It wasn't just technology. It was something else ancient, powerful, and cold. In orbit, the Aegis stood alone, Earth's last line. Inside the bridge, Kira stared at the tactical map. It was bad. The Dominion fleet had split into 3 waves, moving with perfect coordination. Each wave had one goal: surround Earth and crush it from all sides. Time to enemy engagement? She asked. Era responded instantly. 17 minutes. Primary wave approaching fast. Shields at 88%. Weapons charged. The crew was silent. Focused, no more questions, no more fear, only duty. The moment was near. Malik, standing at the engineering console, shook his head slowly. I've never seen ships move like that. They're not flying, they're hunting. They are, Kira replied. They've done this before. 2 other worlds. And now it's our turn. She said flatly. This is where it ends. The Aegis rotated smoothly, aligning its bow with the enemy's lead formation. 6 smaller Dominion cruisers in a tight wedge, each one covered in bone-like armor and lined with pulse cannons. They were fast, but they weren't ready for the Aegis, Ara confirmed targeting. Multiple lock-ins, enemy range, 50,000 kilometers. In closing, Kira gave the order. Fire rail batteries, hold energy cannon. With a deep, thunderous rumble, the Aegis fired. A line of kinetic slugs ripped through space, each the size of a car, traveling faster than sound. 2 enemy cruisers, were hit before they could react. One shattered instantly, metal and fire blooming in silence. The other spiraled out of control, venting plasma. Before slamming into its wingmate and exploding, the formation broke. But they kept coming. The remaining ships adjusted course, now dodging and weaving firing blasts of plasma that streaked toward. The Aegis like falling comets. Impact in 12 seconds, Era said. Brace for hits, Kira shouted. The ship rocked hard as the first blasts struck the shields. The lights flickered. Sparks flew from an overhead console. Reyes swore and threw himself over a nearby panel to stop it from shorting. Shield down to 61%, Era reported. Minor hull breach on port side. Contained. Kira gritted her teeth. Turn fire. All remaining turrets. The Aegis lit up. Its side batteries unleashed a storm of destruction. Red beams, blue flashes, rail bursts. The Dominion ships dodged most, but not all. 2 more cruisers were torn apart, pieces of them scattering across space. Only one escaped crippled. Spinning away from the fight, 4 out of 6 destroyed, Era confirmed. First wave broken. The crew erupted in cheers. Akira didn't. Smile. That had been just the beginning. Second wave approaching, Era said. Drone swarm formation. Estimated 400 units. From beyond the debris field, a new swarm approached. The drones were smaller than before, faster, more erratic. They moved like a school of Fish Impossible to target individually. Malak's voice was tight. There's too many. Kira stared at the screen. Can't shoot them all. No, Ara agreed. But we can scatter them. How deploy shock burst? Era brought up a hologram of the ship's undercarriage, a weapon Kira hadn't seen used yet. A spherical device stored in a deep bay. Kira nodded. Do it! The Aegis dropped the device into space. It floated silently. Then it glowed bright. And sudden, a pulse exploded from an invisible wall of energy that rippled through the drone swarm. The effect was instant. Drones lost control. Some collided with each other. Others spun out and exploded. The rest veered off course, crashing into their own fleet or burning up as their propulsion systems overloaded. 72% drone destruction. Era said calmly. Finish. The rest, Kira ordered. The crew responded with cold precision. Lasers swept across the sky, cleaning up the broken swarm. In less than 4 minutes, the second wave was gone, but something was wrong. ARA's voice changed. Flagship. Powering core weapon. On the main screen, the Dominion flagship began to glow. From its center, a spiral of red energy spun up slowly. At first, then faster. Symbols lit across its hull, ancient and alien. What is that? Malak asked. Kira didn't answer. She watched, thinking, watching the shape of the weapon. It looked like a drill. It's not aiming at us, Rhea said suddenly. It's aiming at Earth. Era confirmed, targeting planetary surface. Weapon estimated to breach atmosphere in 120 seconds. Result: planetary core destabilization, extinction level event. Time stopped. Kira's chest tightened. This was it. The Dominion wasn't here to conquer. They were here to end Earth. And they were about to succeed. Era spoke again. Recommend immediate use of primary cannon. Kira's eyes locked on the screen. That weapon she had only one shot left. One beam if it missed ... Align ship, she said. Center on enemy flagship. Aegis rotated, engine trails glowing. The bow locked into position. Power to cannon, Ara said. Charging. Stand by. Across the ship, lights dimmed as energy was pulled into the central weapon system. The barrel at the Aegis's front glowed blue-white outside. The Dominion flagship's core turned blood red. 30 seconds, Era said. Firing window. Opening. Kira clenched her fists. Her crew waited, breath held. Era's voice was almost human now. Target locked. Kira didn't wait. Fire. The ship recoiled. A single beam of pure white fire tore across space. It was not like any other weapon. It didn't explode. Erased. Time seemed to slow as it touched the Dominion flagship, and then Silence. The beam punched straight through. The flagship didn't. Break apart. It stopped. The red glow faded. 1 second passed, then 2. Then a blinding explosion swallowed it whole. The sound didn't travel, but the light lit the entire battlefield. A wave of debris burst outward. Smaller ships were thrown aside like toys, Ara said softly. Target eliminated. Kira let out the breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Reyes laughed.
We did it.
We actually not yet, Kira said, cutting him off. Era confirmed. Third wave approaching. 24 Dominion warships. Without flagship control. They're leaderless, Malik said. That means chaos. Kira smiled now. Exactly. That's when we strike hardest. Behind them, Earth began to awaken. Satellite relays came online. Ground batteries powered up fighters. It's launched from hidden bases. Kira looked at her team. This is our moment. We fight. We push them back. And we send a message across the stars. She turned back to the screen. Earth is defended. And the Aegis charged again. The wreckage of the Dominion flagship drifted in space like a dying star. Its shattered pieces glowed red, slowly cooling. Now great chunks of armor floated silently, some still pulsing with strange energy. Where the heart of the ship once was, there was only a black void, emptied by the Aegis's cannon. There was no time to celebrate, as the rest of the Dominion fleet had stopped. Dozens of warships hovered just beyond the debris field. Their formation had broken slightly, confused by the sudden death of their leader. But they weren't running, not yet. On the bridge of the Aegis, the crew watched the enemy's next move with tense silence. Azar's voice came through the comm. Enemy ships recalculating formation. Possible new chain of command structure forming. Its estimated time to re-engagement. For minutes. Kira narrowed her eyes. They're reorganizing, she said, trying to adapt without their flagship. Malik checked the power systems. We burned a lot of energy on that cannon. Shields are only at 41%. And we've got some hull damage we haven't even touched. Options? Kira asked. Limited? Limited. Recommend either immediate. Retreat or aggressive push while enemy formation is unstable. Retreat's off the table, Kira said. If we run, they'll hit Earth from orbit. She looked at the tactical screen. Aegis was alone. Earth's own defenses were coming online, but they weren't enough missile platforms. Ground lasers and fighter jets couldn't stop a fleet like this. They needed time, and the Aegis had to give it to them. We go in, Kira said. Speed. Break their line before they recover command structure. Malik's jaw tightened. We won't survive if they regroup while we're inside, and we don't give them the chance. The engines roared as the Aegis surged forward. Reyes adjusted the auxiliary shields. We've got maybe 15 minutes before we burn. Out the forward generators. Then we finish this in 10, Kira replied. The blackness of space seemed to warp as the Aegis entered the Dominion formation. The enemy ship's sleek, twisted vessels of dark metal and alien bone started to turn. Too late, the Aegis opened fire. Railguns shredded through the outer ships. Lasers sliced off their weapon pods. The Aegis didn't stop, rammed straight through the enemy line like a spear. Enemy blasts came in return. Blue fire slammed. Into the shields, plasma bolts tore at the hull. The Dominion cruiser locked on from the rear, launching a stream of magnetic mines. Rear systems hit, Reyes shouted. Hull breach on lower deck 7. Seal it off, Kira ordered. Aristotis. Shields at 23%. Structural damage severe, but stable. Forward weapons at 54% capacity. They were losing parts of the ship, but the crew fought like machines. No panic, only precision. Sparks flew. Steam hissed from broken vents. But they held the line. Then, from deep within the Dominion fleet, a new ship emerged. It wasn't big like the flagship, but it was fast. Literally. The ship moved like a creature. Its surface was covered in scales that shimmered and flexed. Its engines pulsed like a heartbeat, and when it opened, fire it screamed. A sharp psychic pulse hit the Aegis like a blade through the mind. Every crew member staggered. Reyes dropped to his knees. Malik clutched his temple. Kira fell against the console, gritting her teeth. What is that? Era's voice crackled. New class of enemy vessel. Biotechnological origin. Unknown capabilities. Psychic wave detected. Mental disruption. 71% crew affected. Kira forced herself up. Era, protect the crew. Use neural dampeners activating now. A pulse shot through the ship. Invisible but powerful. It dulled the pain. The screaming faded. The crew returned to their stations, still shaking. But the enemy ship was closing fast. Target it, Kira said. Everything we've got. The Aegis fired. But the creature ship dodged. It moved like it knew what was coming. It weaved through the debris, its body twisting mid-flight. Then it opened its front and fired a stream of dark matter. The blast tore through the Aegis's side, ripping open a section of hull. Fire burst across the engineering deck. Malik screamed as a console exploded behind him. Era reported. Severe. Damage to port engine. Forward acceleration reduced. Weapons at 31%. Kira made a decision. We hit it up close. What? Reyes shouted. You want to ram it? No. I want to board it. Everyone froze. Kira continued. We don't have the firepower to kill it, but if it's alive, we can stop it. From the inside, Reyes blinked. You're serious? Black. Blood on his forehead gave a weak smile. Crazy. I like it. Era responded, suggesting boarding plan. Infiltration bay can deploy one dropship. Recommend small team with breaching charges. Kira nodded. Malik, Reyes are with me. They ran down the central corridor, past smoke and alarms, into the hangar bay, where the dropship waited. It was small, barely room for 3, but it was fast. Kira grabbed a rifle, a leak, took a plasma cutter. Reyes carried 2 breach packs. The hangar doors opened. Black space stretched before them, and ahead, a living ship. They launched. The Dominion creature saw them and shrieked again, but the Aegis fired a covering blast. Not enough to hurt it, but enough to make it flinch. The dropship dodged through falling debris, glowing with fire. They got close to close. The creature lashed out with a tentacle-like wing. The ship was nearly struck, but they dove beneath its belly and latched on. The ship vibrated beneath them like it was breathing. It cut through its outer skin. Steam hissed. A hole opened. Inside it was like nothing human. Dark flesh pulsed along the walls. Tubes of green fluid ran like veins. Lights flickered, but not from bulbs, from some kind of bioluminescence. They moved quickly, careful not to touch anything. Then they found the core. A massive brain-like organ floated in the center of the chamber, suspended in a glowing membrane. Wires or nerves stretched from it to the walls. It beat softly, like a heart. Reyes stepped forward. This is it. Blow it and we're done. He planted the first breach pack, but then the membrane opened. A figure stepped out. Not a soldier, not a robot. Something in between. It had a face, but no eyes. Metal arms. A smooth silver body. It tilted its head at them, curious. Then it spoke in perfect English. You are not ready for what comes next. Kira raised her rifle. Then enlighten me. The thing didn't move. You believe this is the war, it said, but this is only the beginning. And then it lunged. Too fast. Reyes fired but missed. Malik slammed it with the plasma cutter. Sparks flew. Kira dodged a blade that nearly sliced her arm. She dropped her rifle, pulled her knife, and drove it into the thing's neck. It screamed. Electricity burst from its body. It collapsed, sizzling. Dead. They planted the second charge. Time to go, Reyes shouted. They sprinted back to the dropship. The creature ship groaned beneath them, like it knew it was dying. They launched away, and behind them, the bioweapon exploded. The entire living ship cracked open. Fire poured out of its body. Its remaining weapons went dark. On the Aegis, The bridge crew cheered. Era announced, "Enemy command vessel destroyed. Remaining warships. Retreating." Kira, back aboard, limped to the main screen. She watched the Dominion ships turn and disappear into deep space. Earth was safe. For now, but she couldn't stop thinking about what the thing had said. This is only the beginning. And deep in her bones, she knew it was right. The silence after battle is the loudest kind. The wreckage of war floated in Earth's orbit, broken ships, burned metal, drifting bodies, and scattered debris still glowing with fading heat. The Aegis held position among it all, scarred but standing. Sparks flickered along its hull. Shields were gone. Weapons mostly offline, but the ship was alive, and Earth was still here. Inside the bridge, the crew moved slowly, carefully, like people waking from a bad dream. Blood-streaked uniforms, bandaged wounds, tired eyes, but no one left their post. They had survived the impossible. Kira leaned on the central console. Her hand was still wrapped from the fight aboard the alien vessel. She stared at the tactical screen, which showed a wide green circle around Earth's orbit. No more red dots. No Dominion ships. Still, her gut felt tight. "Era," she said, her voice low. "Any signs of cloaked ships?" "Negative," the AI replied. "No Dominion signals within range. All enemy vessels have jumped out of local space." Malik sat. Nearby, legs stretched out, arm in a sling. "So, we won." Kira didn't answer. Instead, she played the last audio recording from the creature they had killed inside the biotech ship. "You believe this is the war. But this is only the beginning." Reyes leaned over the screen. "Creepy bastard didn't even blink when we blew up his brain." "What the hell was he talking about?" Ara responded. "Analyzing ship memory core. Fragment recovered from the wreck. Decrypting." Kira's eyes sharpened. "Wait, you got data from that thing? Correct?" The creature ship transmitted partial neural commands during boarding. "How?" "I intercepted a portion before detonation. Estimated 13% total memory archive." "And what's in it?" she asked. Ara's voice shifted, quiet. "Coordinates. And a countdown?" Everyone froze. Malik sat up straight. "Countdown to what?" "Unknown. Origin appears external to Dominion Fleet Command, I believe." The Dominion was acting on orders from something else. Kira clenched her fists. "D. Mean this wasn't their invasion?" "No," Era replied. The bridge went silent again. Kira's mind raced. A test? By who? For what? Reyes stood slowly. "So someone bigger is out there. They used the Dominion to test Earth's defenses. And now they know we can fight back," Kira said. Era finished the decryption. Coordinates traced too. The edge of the CERN expanse. Uncharted space. Few known stars. No official records. Malik exhaled. "That's deep space. Nobody goes there. No trade routes. And no colonies." Kira looked at the data. "Then that's where we go." Reyes blinked. "Wait, what?" "If this was just a test," she said, "we can't sit and wait for the next one. We hit first. We find whoever sent the Dominion. And we end it before they send something worse." Malik raised an eyebrow. "You want to take one damaged warship into unknown space and attack something that even scares the Dominion?" Kira smiled. "Yes." Reyes laughed nervously. "I'm in, but I want it on record that this is a bad idea." "Noted, Era." Said 2 days later, the Aegis left Earth's orbit. She wasn't fully repaired, but she didn't need to be. Core systems were working. Weapons had been restored to 70% power. Shield emitters were patched enough for deep space travel. Earth's leaders didn't stop them. In fact, they sent backup an encrypted uplink with the Defense Council, giving Kira temporary command authority over all remaining Terran fleets. She knew no one else would follow her into the dark. This mission had to be done alone. The CERN. Expanse was cold and empty, no stars nearby, no com signals. Just a stretch of dark between the arms of the galaxy. Where ancient things might still hide, the Aegis entered the coordinates. Nothing appeared at first, just endless black. Then Nera found something, energy field detected, very faint. Structure. Hidden within subspace envelope? Can we break through it? Kira asked. Yes, but not with brute force. We must phase jump inside. Malik glanced at her. That's risky. What if we don't come back? Kira looked straight ahead. Then we don't come back. Era began the jump sequence. A hum filled the ship. Lights dimmed. Stars outside twisted, then dashed darkness, and suddenly they were inside. The ship shuddered. As it phased through a strange layer of reality, alarms blinked, but no systems failed. And outside the window, structured massive, floating inside the void like a sleeping god. It looked ancient, dark stone, metal veins. No lights, no movement. But something about it felt alive. It wasn't a station. It wasn't a ship. It was both. Life signs. Kira asked. Era hesitated. Double quotes. Yes, but not biological. The Aegis moved slowly forward. As they approached, a section of the structure opened without warning. A wide tunnel big enough for the ship to enter. Should we? Malik asked. Kira nodded. They flew in. Inside, the walls glowed faint blue. Symbols appeared Dalian, shifting, not Dominion language. Something older, something more complex. Suddenly the ship stopped. No engines. No control. They were caught. Gravitational lock, Era said. We're being pulled in? Weapons? Kira asked. Offline? From the screen, they saw a beam of light scan the ship. It moved through the hull, into every deck. The Nan incoming transmission, not sound, not words, a vision. Everyone on the bridge went still, their minds filled with images. A world dark and dying, a race of machines built for war. The Dominion kneeling, for something larger. A hand metal and bone reaching across galaxies, and then Earth, lit up in red, labeled Target acquired. The vision ended. Everyone was shaking. Reyes whispered, that wasn't just a warning, that was a map. And Earth's on the list. Kira stood up slowly. This place sits not a base. It's a factory, builds fleets, sends them out to test other species. And now it's building something for us, Malik said quietly. Era confirmed. Power signatures increasing. Estimated fleet construction, 19% complete. Kira turned to the crew. We have one chance. We overload this structure's power. Core. We destroy it before they finish whatever they're building. Reyes blinked. Era. Can we even do that? It's possible, the AI answered. With full reactor detonation, self-destruct. Silence. Kira didn't flinch. Then we prepare. To evacuate. And we blow this factory into dust. Malik looked at her. Captain, we don't have enough time to escape if we overload the core manually. I know. You're staying. She nodded once. I started this. I finish it. Reyes stepped forward. You're not going alone. Kira looked at him. It's not an order. Good. I wouldn't follow it anyway. Malik sighed. Fine. But if we're going out, we're taking everything with us. They all nodded. Era gave one final warning. Detonation will destabilize subspace envelope. This entire sector will collapse. Kira stared at the glowing core on the map. Good. With steady hands, she armed the countdown. 10 minutes. Then the Aegis's lights dimmed. The ship moved again. On its own, the factory had noticed, and it wasn't going to die quietly. The countdown ticked. 9 minutes, 47 seconds. The Aegis shook as it was dragged deeper into the alien factory. Massive walls of black stone and silver veins pulsed outside the windows, alive with unseen energy. It felt like they had entered a living machine, and now it was waking up. On the bridge, red lights flashed. Ara's voice was calm but urgent. Gravitational anchor intensifying. External force attempting to lock reactor core. Defense protocols activating throughout the structure. Kira gripped the rail. It knows. Malik stood at his station. Eyes locked on the screen. What the hell does it want? If it's just a factory, why is it fighting back like a person? Ara answered, unknown. Behavior suggests artificial intelligence with partial sentience, maybe operating autonomously. Since creator species extinction. Extinction, Reyes echoed. So this thing outlived its masters. Kira stared at the growing energy wave ahead. Now it thinks it's the master. Another tremor shook the Aegis. Brace, Leek shouted from the black walls around. Them spines of metal shot out like spears, aimed straight at the ship. The Aegis spun, engines blazing. They dodged the first two. A third scraped across the hull with a horrible scream, tearing into the outer armor. Sparks burst through the vents on Deck 3. Porthole breach, Ara called out. Deck sealed. No crew casualties. Kira wiped sweat from her brow. We can't just fly around forever. Era, is there a weak point in the structure? Analyzing. For a moment, nothing. Then, yes. One possible overload node. Deep within central fusion chamber. If reached, detonation will chain react. Through internal systems, Reyes pointed at the display. Can we fly the ship into it? Era replied. Too deep. Ship cannot pass through inner defense rings. Malik understood instantly. We have to go on foot. Kira nodded. Grab gear. Meet at Bay 3 in 2 minutes. They ran. Suits on. Weapons loaded. Era guided them through the ship's lower levels, all while the Aegis creaked and groaned under pressure. The factory was trying to stop them, twisting its tunnels, blocking paths, but they pushed through. At Bay 3, a small shuttle waited. Not built for battle, just fast and quiet, Era. Keep the Aegis moving. Distract it. Stall it, Kira said. I will do my best, the AI answered. Good luck, Captain. The shuttle launched. Kira, Malik, and Reyes sat shoulder to shoulder, watching as the black walls of the alien megastructure opened before them like a throat. Heat shimmered. Energy crackled across the walls. Strange symbols scrolled past the glass. Inside, it was like flying through the brain of a god. 5 minutes left, Reyes said. Hope this overload node is real. Malik checked his explosives. It's real. We just have to reach it. They passed through one final tunnel and then a massive chamber, 1,000 meters wide, lit by fire. Its energy surged through pipes, like blood through veins. In the center, a tall black spire, vibrating with raw power. ARS voice came faintly through the coms. That is the node. Destroy it, and this facility dies with it. But they weren't alone. From the far side of the room, something moved. Tall, silver, humanoid, but wrong. Its limbs bent in strange directions. Its face was smooth. No eyes, no mouth. It's just a shifting metal surface. It held a staff of energy glowing with fire. Reyes whispered, We've seen these before? That thing inside the biotech ship. Kira raised her rifle. This one's worse. The creature looked at the man, then began to walk forward, Malik shouted. Move. They split up. Reyes to the left, Malik to the right. Kira down the center. The Guardian moved fast. Lightning dashed fast. It swung the staff, and a wave of energy burst from it. The ground cracked, dove aside, barely missing the blast. Reyes fired from above. Bullets bounced off the thing's armor. It didn't flinch. Malik circled behind, setting one of the charges. 30 seconds, yelled. The creature turned toward him, staff raised. Kira fired again, this time at the staff. A bolt hit the handle, and the weapon sparked. The creature staggered. Malik slammed the rest of the charge into the node. Set. The creature howled, or projected a howl. It wasn't sound. It was a pulse of pressure in their skulls. Reyes dropped to one knee, clutching his head. It's doing that mind thing again, Kira charged. She ran straight at the Guardian, leapt, and drove her rifle butt into its head. The metal cracked. The thing stumbled, then caught her mid-dash air. It threw her across the chamber. She hit the ground hard. Malik screamed, Kira! But she was already rising, bleeding, but alive. The Guardian raised its staff one last time, and that's when Reyes hit it from behind with his last explosive pack. The blast tore the creature's chest open. It froze. Then, bell sparks flew from its limbs. Staff clattered to the floor, dead. The node pulsed faster now. Alarms, if that's what they were, began to sound across the entire chamber. Malik shouted, "We need to get out now!" Kira stumbled forward and keyed her come. Era, pull the Aegis to pick up. Point now. En route. ETA 90 seconds. That 3 of them ran suits, scorched, faces bloodied, hearts pounding behind them. The black spire started to crack. Red light poured from it. The factory groaned, deep, thunderous, angry, like the whole place was screaming. They reached the exit tunnel, just as the shuttle doors opened. They dove inside. Reyes hit the thrusters. The shuttle blasted out of the collapsing chamber. Dodging falling debris, riding the shockwave, the Aegis appeared ahead, battered, glowing, but still there. The shuttle docked just as the first explosion ripped through the structure. On the bridge, Hera shouted, "Subspace collapse beginning. We must leave. Get us out," Kira screamed. The Aegis turned. Engines flared. They jumped. Behind them, reality twisted. The factory imploded into itself, folding like a dying star. Light vanished. Gravity screamed. Then nothing. The screen went black. The ship was in normal space again. Safe. Quiet. Malik collapsed into his chair, laughing breathlessly. Reyes looked out the window. We really did it. Kira just stared ahead. The coordinates were gone. Factory destroyed. But in her chest, she still felt if that presence, that mind, not dead, just watching and waiting. Era broke the silence. "Captain, we have a new signal." Everyone tends. Kira turned. "What kind of signal?" The AI's voice was low, human, weak, very old. "Deep space." Attached message reads, "Still alive? Come find us," Reyes whispered. "Who the hell sent that?" Malik frowned. "Another colony?" Kira narrowed her eyes. "No," she said. "That's not a distress call. That's a warning." Silence filled the bridge. The crew of the Aegis stood frozen, eyes fixed on the message Ara had just decoded. "We are still alive. Come find us." It was human, but it wasn't from Earth. Kira leaned over the console, staring at the signals. Origin: a sector of deep space marked only as unreachable black zone. Age of signal: Aegis estimated transmission date: 132 years ago. Malik turned slowly. That's impossible. Humans weren't that far out back then. No jump gates, no colony missions beyond the frontier line. Reyes added, "That zone's a dead area. No stars, no traffic, nothing." Kira's voice was steady. Then someone lied. "Ah!" Ara expanded the data. The message included coordinates deep in the outer arm of the galaxy, close to the void where they had just destroyed the alien factory. No known human records listed any missions there, yet the message was undeniably Tyren, and it carried a second signal encrypted and buried. A warning: they are not gone. They are only sleeping. Do not wake them. The lights flickered. The ship groaned. R's voice tightened. "Residual distortion from the factory's destruction is interfering with local space. You must leave this region within 4 hours or risk structural collapse." Kira made her choice, set course for the signal. Malik spun around. "Wait, what? We just barely survived the last place. Now you want to fly into another void where some ghost is whispering at us?" Reyes added, "Captain, with all due respect, we don't even know who sent that. It could be a trap." Kira didn't blink. "It probably is." She stepped forward, eyes locked on the black void ahead. "But if someone's alive out there, if someone knew this was coming over 100 years ago, we need to know who or what." The Aegis jumped again. The stars bent. The black deepened, and then dashed nothing. No light, no time. It felt like the ship had stopped existing. Then space returned, but it wasn't right. The region was filled with dark matter clouds that distorted light. There were no stars, no planets, just a faint gravity signature coming from the center of a dust ring. At first, it looked like just a cluster of debris, but then shapes appeared. Man-made shapes. "Scanning," Ara said. multiple Terran ship. Signatures. Hull designs from 130 to 140 years ago. All presumed destroyed or missing. Reyes leaned forward. That's impossible. Those ships vanished before the Second Expansion War. They were just gone. The camera zoomed in, and there it was. A ship. Enormous. Black. Angular. Not like anything built today. And painted on the side. Half scratched and covered in dust were the words, TSSVAUNGOR, Demolic whispered. I know that name. That was Earth's first long-range dreadnought. Disappeared with 300 people aboard. Kira ordered, dock us. Quietly. Boarded. The docking tube extended, pressure locked. The air was stale, cold, thin but breathable. Era sent out sensor drones first. Nothing moved. No lights. Just dark halls and floating debris. Then, faint footsteps echoed from deep inside. Kira led the team herself. Freyas and Malik close behind. They moved room by room, guns raised, scanning. Every surface. The ship looked abandoned, but not damaged. In fact, it looked preserved. As if it had been untouched by time, they reached the bridge. Power came on the moment. Kira touched the control panel, flickering lights, dust, and then a figure standing in the corner. Pale skin, silver eyes, thin frame. Wearing an old Earth Navy uniform, a patch on the chest. Captain Sram, TSS Vanguard. He didn't move, didn't breathe, but he was alive barely. He turned his head slowly. You shouldn't have come. Reyes stepped back. He's human. He's one of them. Captain Ram's voice was quiet, like a whisper through broken glass. No, not anymore. Kira lowered her weapon. What happened to you? He looked past her, toward the stars outside. We found them, he said. Before Earth knew they existed, the builders, the architects of the machines, the ones behind the Dominion, Malik asked. Ram nodded. They created the warforms, sent them across space to test life, thought we could destroy them. Or control them. He lifted his hand. It wasn't human anymore. It was metal smooth black, fused with bone. They changed us, took what we were. Left us here as a warning, Reyes asked. Why send the message then? Why tell us to come? Ram's eyes glowed faintly now. I didn't, he pointed to the console. The crew turned. On the screen, another message. This one not human. Stage 2 initiated. Earth verified. Viable threat. Adaptation protocols deployed. Ram's body began to twitch. They're waking up, he whispered. Run. Suddenly, the ship shook. Power surged. From behind the walls. Mechanical sounds. Clicking. Grinding. 1,000 tiny movements. Reyes shouted. There, in the walls. Malik grabbed Kira's arm. We have to go. Kira nodded. Era, emergency. Evac now. The team ran behind them. The Vanguard lit up from the inside. Sections of the ship transformed, walls folded, consoles twisted, machines growing from the floor like metal vines. Screams echoed from deep inside, not voices, but digital. Shrieks. They barely made it back to the Aegis. The docking tube snapped closed. Jump. Kira ordered. Era didn't wait. The stars stretched hand. The Aegis left that place behind. Back in neutral space. They watched the scan feed as the Vanguard vanished behind distortion clouds. It had become something else. A beacon dot. A birthing chamber. Whatever. Was sleeping there. It was awake now. Reyes sat down slowly. We didn't end the war. We just woke up the real enemy. Malik added. And now they know Earth can fight. Kira stared at the final line of the alien message. Stage 2 initiated. Fleet arrival, 273 hours. She looked at her crew. We have 11 days, Reyes asked. To do what? Kira stood tall, to warn Earth, to unite the colonies, to prepare. Because now, Earth was no longer one world among many. It was the last line of defense, and the enemy was coming.